Vlog notes for Sunday the 14th? 13th? 14th. So, WAZA airs. Been working on these things all weekend. And here's what I'm thinking. So far, in the year or so that I've had these, I've mainly used them in two different modes. Either with everything turned off as monitors, so I could plug the receiver into my Helix and listen to the sounds coming through. The only problem there was that was in mono, but sounds good. The other way, the normal way I would use these is just with a guitar. Just pop them on, wireless, and play. And that was great, but something I've always missed has been expression and wah and stuff like that, which you can't use through the app. Up until this week when Christian, I believe it was Christian, found the sysx codes sniffing this thing to mimic hitting these buttons that you can go through your presets, and I've integrated that now into my rig. The first way was with a wireless MC6. There was a video about that. And here's what I found in switching, and this has sparked all this curiosity and why I'm making all of these little graphics of models and all of the effects in here, because there's a boatload. There's 55. 23, I think, just modulation effects. It's sick. So, I've been thinking, is there a better way to make use of this? And the first thing that came to mind was snapshots in the Helix. This, as a modeler, is basically a katana. And I don't know how it's doing it, but it doesn't seem to drop. There seems to be spillover between changing the presets for the most part. You can get massive differences in volume, but it flows quite nicely. So the thought this weekend is, well, you're always missing on the stomp extra blocks and extra things, and you can't actually modulate the modulation in this thing, but you can turn stuff on and off, kinda. If you think about this as being 6 presets, call those 6 snapshots. What if you had the same chain all throughout with things being turned on and off and dials being set? Those would be snapshots in one preset. So I'm thinking Lewis, who only uses one preset most of the time when he's practicing. Think about this, mate. You can control all this stuff through OnSong. I know you don't use that, but this is what I'm looking at. If you can store those simple sysx commands in an app, band helper or what have you, you can have the thing automatically switch between your sounds at the right moment. Like if you're playing a song or something like that, band helper should do it. There should be other apps, even in the Android world, that do playlist management. Just think about that for your practice. You should be able to pop these on, hit play, do stuff on screen here, as I'm doing. I can switch between these things on screen, so I've got the hands taken care of. I can see what I'm looking at. And it's really why I'm doing all this graphic stuff. So I'll flip the camera around and give you a run through the graphic stuff. Okay, so we're back and on screen, in screen. So to set this up, what I do is go into the Boss WAZA thing. You'll notice this is sideways. That's my major pet peeve with this app. There's so much space that could be used for displaying actual effects, and there is none. But a lot of power, 3 different chains where the amp is moving slowly from left to right. Layout's fairly simple, but understanding how, amply's really simple. 5 different types, which I think is wonderful, and with your basic EQ and stuff like that. You've also got the possibility to add EQ in all over the place. And there's a lot of things really hidden in here. Let's see. Delay 2, for example, and the reverb block, you can have both of these working in series, or just delay, or just reverb, or both, plus another delay, so up to 2 delays. And reverbs, boosters, brilliant. And there's a bunch, so I've gone through and filled in actually what these are. Don't know about the rest of you, but for me, I actually want to see the pedals that I'm manipulating and learn the history of them and the story of them and have some kind of recollection. To me, natural OD means nothing without some sort of picture. Tube Screamer, everybody knows it, but you know what I mean. I think it's really cool to know the gear that you're messing with virtually. It's a learning experience. So yeah, that's it. There's a ton of stuff in here that's recognized, but what I do is use OnSong, and this has my 6 presets. So by tapping these are sending sysx messages out, which you can see here. Set up a global with 2 globals inside it, so nested globals. Which are pretty cool. And this sends all these sysx out. Boom. So with this, I have the same thing on the foot switch, replicated on screen. And these can be connected into all my other presets. You see the Iridium I have remoted like this as well. And I've got these set up so that they launch program changes. So those are my thoughts with this thing. It may seem like a lot of faffing around, but if you think about a preset and gapless playback and snapshots, moving between scenes like that, this is something that simply hasn't existed thus far with the whole WAZA thing. And that's pretty incredible. If you combine this with a Helix, you've basically doubled your DSP with something that can fit in your gig bag. So, food for thought. Hope that helps. This is, what's it called? Pages. The usual Word document thing. So I've gone and snagged all these images all over the place. Oh, John. And started trying to figure out how this signal chain, and there's a lot of really cool, strange things in here. Cabinets, for instance, you've only got 3, but that's off on one page all of its own. The amplifier is really well laid out. You've got all those different options, but again, another page on its own. In between the effects, you've got boosters, and you can run 3 loaded into one preset and switch between them without interruption. Strange. Same thing for mod, same thing for delay. Then there's an FX list. The mod list and the FX list are the same, essentially. So you could just set one line, like this from the rat onwards. And you've got all of those different components in there. You can switch them around. You can change the signal chains. And I'm not sure if that interrupts or not, but it seems that you've got seamless switching no matter what's going on. So for Christian, another interesting thing to see about sniffing, tell me how you did that sniff thing and how can we get more tricks out of this thing? To me, it would appear that you could go through all of these different mods that are in here. The way I've set this up is I can just go and copy that and then build some sort of signal chain and have fun with it. It's certainly been interesting looking up these things. All the fuzzes, all the boosters, all the stuff. So on its own, I think if you see this stuff, then you'll get a bit more out of using the WAZA than you do already. God knows I love the simplicity of them. I use it like that all the time, but if I want to switch between some acoustic practice and some heavy guitar practice all at once, it's really nice to have it laid out in front of you. See what you're doing, click in YouTube and play stuff. It's brilliant. So that's it for me signing out. But yeah, food for thought. Some of these effects are insanely cool. And it's really good to put a face to them and see what's going on and recognize these things out there in the world. The actual pedal should mean something. That mixer distortion is brilliant. Anyway, that's it. I'm out. Bye.